Thank you, Travis. I'm Ketan Gilani, and I'm joined by Rahul. Welcome to the advanced monitoring session for Azure Monitor. Travis was going to actually put in Bollywood Rambo music so that we can dance, but the rest session is only for 45 minutes, so we cannot do that. Sorry to disappoint Travis. We're going to talk about pretty much advanced monitoring scenarios. So to get started, I want to just find out how many here, here for the first time Azure Monitor? Here first time? Oh, okay, few, yeah. And how many are using Azure Monitor today? Wow, that's pretty good. That's amazing. And how many do plan to use after going from Ignite? Okay, there are a few hands there. I think probably want to see more hands as we go through that session. You'll see more people. I'm pretty sure that you'll use it. So let's go through the agenda. Quickly, we'll just go through the overview, a couple slides, and then we'll dive into the demos. That's what we want the sessions to be about, more of the demos, advanced monitoring scenario demos. And then we'll wrap up with some FAQs and roadmap. In terms of Azure Monitor overview, one thing I want to at least dispel the myth was, you could look at the title. It says Azure/hybrid. Many times when you call about Azure Monitor, people think about Azure Monitor as only thing that we can monitor applications and infrastructure that's running in Azure, and that's not true. We can do across Azure as well as running on-premise or in other clouds as well. So applications, we can monitor on-premise applications that are running or other clouds as well as in Azure. Azure, of course, will be very well integrated in Azure, so we can detect and diagnose across your applications, dependencies with application insights. Similarly, for infrastructure, we have Azure Monitor for VMs, for virtual machines, containers, Kubernetes basically, and a network. Again, for VMs, AKS, network also, we can do both Azure as well as on-premise. We can drill down into log analytics for deeper troubleshooting and diagnostics. And this platform is very powerful, an analytics platform that actually we use at Microsoft. We can ingest petabytes of data. It can query at scale. You'll see some of the queries today. But this is what we use at Microsoft. We are exposing that also externally. Now the platform itself is also available as Azure Data Explorer externally. So that also is available there. You can always, whatever we show here today, you can operationalize it, write alerts on it, group automated actions on it. At scale, you can actually use that to monitor your systems. And finally, of course, you can visualize all the stuff that we have using dashboards and monitor workbooks. And I will show you some of the workbooks that we have today. What we'll cover today is basically 4 sets of scenarios. So first of all, we'll be monitoring at scale, looking at some of the aspects of how you monitor at scale. Then we go into monitoring the N-tier microservices architecture on AKS, and then diagnosing network issues, various situations of what type of network issues are there. And then we'll also look at the alert management demo also at there. For monitoring at scale, I think we'll look at 4 angles: configuration, management, and visualization, and operationalization. Operationalization with alerts. So you'll see that in the alert management demo. In the demo that I'll show you, I'll cover a little bit about the DevOps project, how we integrate with the CI/CD pipeline, and also how can you use policy to actually monitor your infrastructure. And then looking at some of the visualizations that we have for scale to do that. OK. So let me actually switch. OK, so this is actually a DevOps project. I'm going to basically create a DevOps project. And I can actually create a project here. So I can do a .NET, Java. I'm going to select Java. And I can now actually select the framework. I'm going to select the Spring framework. And then I could select whether it's running web app, using Linux web app or Windows web app or Kubernetes service. I'm going to select the Kubernetes service, so it's going to run on AKS. And then I can enter all the details that I want for my project here and the application here. I'm not going to do that here, but I've created just before this. You can see that Ignite 2019. It goes to the deployment, And not only that, it actually has is instrumented with the application insights for the app that's running in Java, for the web apps running in Java. It's also instruments the infrastructure with container inside, Azure Monitor for containers, as you can see here. So I can actually click through on the containers, and it'll actually take you to see how your cluster is performing, or AKS cluster is performing in there. So now you can see that very easily with the CI/CD pipeline, you can actually integrate your applications that are there and instrument automatically with the infrastructure layer as well as the application layer. So that's, again, with Azure Monitor, is very seamless as you can go through that. The next set of demos, so going to the management space, management at scale, you can look at, I'll look at the policy. There's aspects you can do at management at scale with ARM, CLI, and PowerShell also, but also I'll look at the policy here. So you can look at here. For example, on the policy getting started page, you have the enable Azure Monitor for VMs up there. I will look at the definitions that we have. The policy definitions that we have. Let's filter it down to Azure Monitor. So you can now see that we have the policy, built-in policies for Azure Monitor for VMs as well as for VM scale sets. And if I click on one of them, it's a set of policies that are there which installs your agents that needed for monitoring. And you can assign a particular scope. So that means that now you assign a scope to policy. In this case, you have any VMs or virtual machines in this case that are in the subscription for this scope, you can automatically get monitored. So in the sense that the agents will be installed, send the data to log analytics, and all your experiences light up automatically. For some reason, you're creating new VMs that fall in the scope, it automatically gets monitored. For some reason, if you disable monitoring on one of the VMs, somebody has done that, when the policy evaluation happens, it'll again put that back in compliance in there. Okay? And I also want to show you custom policy definitions. So in the case where, I'll show you an example that was done, where I want to just collect logs from all of the application settings that are there, diagnostic logs. So if I were to look at that, diagnostic, you can see that I can actually do the diagnostic settings, enable diagnostic logs for the log collection environment that I have. And I can actually look at here. One second. Assignments. This is not the policy I wanted, actually. Let me look at here. So you can look at the diagnostic log collection enablement. I can actually look at this policy. It will be the policy that we have created as a custom policy that enables logs for these resources. You can, again, assign the scope to what's desired. And we have created what you call a script that actually allows you to create these custom policies. It's there actually in the slide. One of the hidden slides has the demo in there, how you get to the script. So there's a script that allows you to shows you how you can create this custom policy that we have. And it allows you to collect logs of all of the Azure resources through diagnostic settings. So that's kind of you saw kind of what we did with the integration with CI/CD. Then we saw what we did policy. I'll just show you quickly now some of the visualizations aspect of it. So we have Azure dashboards. I'll not go into details of the dashboards, but you can create rich dashboard visualizations. Here it shows you kind of the dashboard that we created for your application level data. You have your infrastructure level data. You have your security level data, all there in one single pane of glass here. And then the other aspects, as you'll go through Azure Monitor, kind of the insights, all of these Azure Monitor will provide you at scale. So individual Azure resources, of course, you can go to the individual Azure resource to see their monitoring, alerts, metrics, and stuff at the individual Azure resource. But at Azure Monitor, you can look at all of that at the scale level. I'm not going to the primitives of alerts, metrics, and logs here, but I will show you some of the other aspects that's there, like what it shows you right now for virtual machines. I can look at the virtual machines. In this case, it's showing for the group of VMs. I can show you all of the VMs in here. Basically show you kind of the metrics that we collect. And one more thing also I want to just point out. It's both Azure as well as hybrid. So in this case, it shows you hybrid, so on-prem VM as well as Azure VMs. And it shows you kind of the key metrics that are there, CPU, memory, disk, and so on and so forth. You can look at those. You can drill down into the list of the VMs that are there, or you can drill down to the map itself. So you can look at the map on how that group is performing also. So it shows you rich information on how it talks to different ports and everything else. Okay. So similarly, we have containers. Containers also, you can look at both Azure Stack, non-Azure, as well as Azure for Kubernetes that we have. Again, at scale, you can look at multi-cluster view to see what's the status of these containers at scale. And we'll actually go into the demo. When we go into the demo, you'll see a little more, where Rahul will show you a little more in this case. The next thing I wanted to show you was actually how we have created these insights at scale for other Azure resources. So we have storage. We launched about a couple months ago, storage insights. So it's showing you kind of the 4 golden signals that we have in terms of latency, throughput, capacity, performance, kind of the golden signals of monitoring. You can see that at scale, how your storage account is doing. And this was, again, feedback from the customers on what they wanted to see. We didn't have capacity earlier, but they really wanted to see capacity, so we added the capacity. So similarly, you can look at Cosmos DB, for example, here. It shows you, again, the same golden signals for Cosmos DB at scale also. Again, very feedback from the customers on what they wanted to see. We worked with a few customers to figure out, for example, we started with the resource and database, but they really wanted to see at collections level, so we added the collections level. So the technology behind powering this visualization is the workbook platform. And it has very easily allowed us to now scale our effort to say, hey, how can we provide monitoring resourcing or monitoring for all of the Azure resources? So we're going to work with other Azure resources to make sure that they can provide the same level of monitoring that we are providing for these with the workbook platform that we have. So same thing, I'll just show you quickly a couple of the powerful visualizations that we have for the platform. You can look at, let's see, you can look at, here you can look at a heat map of CPU based on CPU usage. You can actually look at a particular, for example, this one is red. You can look at the detail or trending of the different metrics that are there. In this case, you see CPU is pegged. You can look at another visualization I'll just show you. The other one was based on metrics. This is based on logs. Again, it shows you, in this case, it shows you the workspace usage. So the idea is also to make sure that you are able to create your own visualization. So you can easily actually copy these templates and make your own. Or you can create from scratch or your own. So it's very easily share it across your organizations also in there. So with that, I will actually hand it over to Rahul for the next set of demos and event scenarios.
Thanks, Ketan. So you saw how you can use Azure Monitor to monitor your applications, your infrastructure, storage, network, everything at scale. Now let's pick up another popular scenario, microservices. How many of you are using microservices architecture today or plan to use in the near future? Great, almost half of the audience, and I'm assuming it will grow as the time moves on, because this is becoming one of the most popular modern application architectures. And when I talk to customers who are in the microservices space, I hear these common asks that you see on the screen. Typically, a microservices development require open source support. You might be developing in .NET Core, Java, Python, Node, PHP, whatever language of your choice. You need it to be easily enabled, because these microservices are on containers. If you have to install an SDK and do a bunch of heavy configuration, the service might die down before it starts getting monitored. You want full distributed tracing. Microservices are small applications, small services distributed across containers, across tiers. How do you get that end-to-end transaction trace? And lastly, that full stack observability. It's not just your application. You have your container infrastructure. You have databases. You have legacy workloads on VMs. You have client load coming in, let's say, from mobile applications or functions or APIs. How do you capture that full stack of information? So broadly, there are two basic aspects that you'll need to take care of. On the application workload side, Azure Monitor provides an application insights capability. So you can easily enable that for all of your microservices. It's both SDK-based that you can deploy at deployment or development time, or we will very soon introduce a codeless attach mechanism. So it can be deployed on your AKS container, and any microservices that get deployed there will automatically get monitored. So I'll share the link on how you can get onboarded to that later on. So once you get data in App Insights, you'll get rich APM, full diagnostics, performance monitoring, usage analytics, everything that you get from a typical app performance management tool. Now, these applications, as I said, would be deployed on some kind of containers. It could be AKS, it could be Arc, it could be AKS Engine, on-premises Kubernetes, whatever technology you're using. You can use Azure Monitor to monitor these container resources. Once you enable container insights, you'll get rich telemetry, cluster health, node pod status, container infrastructure metrics, perf metrics. Let's say if you're using Prometheus as well to collect some basic application or interesting metrics, we do integrate with that, so you can continue using that as part of your telemetry. Now, typically, this is like a sample architecture I have seen when customers are moving to microservices. You have a set of like pods running on a Kubernetes container. These pods could be polyglot, written in any language, like fully connected with some database layer like SQL or storage or Cosmos DB, whatever might be running behind the scenes. And then since it's an N-tier application, N-tier world, there might be some legacy workloads running on, say, Azure VMs or on-premises servers or somewhere. So a problem might lie anywhere. And that's where Azure Monitor gives you the best of both the worlds. Since it gives you both container-level metrics, VM-level metrics, Ketan showed some of them, application-level metrics. We also have storage and Cosmos DB and bunch of other metrics for like your databases. You can easily get that full-stack N-tier monitoring solution. So enough with the slides. Let's see how that looks in a real-life example. So the sample architecture you just saw, this is an application map that I have pulled up from Application Insights. And these three are microservices that I'm running on containers. So there is a Node.js microservice, there is a Java microservice, there is a .NET Core backend. So all these are running on a container environment. And I can immediately start seeing what's the health of each of my instances. There are some transaction problems. Like this particular instance have 11% failures and so on. But this doesn't seem to be the full picture. This is just the microservices running on containers. I can click Update Map Components, and it will immediately discover all the dependencies across the entire stack of my environment, including some functions or user loads that is sending or requesting data from the microservice, plus some legacy services written in .NET on VMs that this microservices are connected to. Now, we were seeing this before, 11% failure rate on the .NET service. I can click here and immediately see my top failures, my slowest requests. So let's click on one of these failures, and I can see how many people have been impacted. I can see each individual instance of that failure. Click there, pick up a sample, and I can see a full distributed trace. Now, this is where we are also partnering with the community using open telemetry, open sensors. So as we start support all of these languages with open telemetry, you'll see a more expansive set of distributed trace across all the dependencies you are using. So even here, I can figure out while there was a failure or an operational failure at that front end, it was actually due to another service, a data source service running on a VM way down the stack that was actually causing a failed request. So I can see all the exceptions here, message, call stack, failed method, and everything. I can file a work item from here in GitHub or Azure DevOps, whatever you're using, or just start diagnostics from here onwards. Now, another thing we noticed was this spike. There is a 10-second spike on one of the requests. I can do the same workflow. I can pick up that spike, check an individual instance of that operation, and see where that spike came from. Now, remember, we were looking at the node microservice that was showing the spike, and I can immediately see from the transaction trace that it had nothing to do with the node service. The other service, the Java microservice we showed you, that was actually causing some problem. And there is nothing apparent here why there might be a performance spike, but my hypothesis is there might be something funky going on the container infrastructure. So let's jump there. I know the container resource that these apps are deployed to. I can come to the AKS blade, click on monitor containers, and I can see container insights, same view as Ketan showed you before. So I can start with just the broader cluster level view. Nothing anomalous is visible here. I can drill down to nodes, controllers, containers, and so on. So let's look at some containers that are running on this cluster. And I remember that was the Java service. So I can look at the Java service, and I can see in this last 6 hours there was not a problem. Let's pick up last 3 days if there was anything. OK, so last 3 days, I noticed that it had been spiking on the CPU quite intermittently, at least twice in the last 3 days. And I can see that the configuration has been like 856 millicores. Now, typically, in my experience, this is not the right configuration. You need more CPU usage on your pod. So I can see what the environment variables are, how much configuration was made. If this is wrong, I can, of course, go to kubectl, do the right configurations. But many a times, this is not the only root cause. There might be something going on the pod. There might be some other services running. How do you verify all of that? Now, since all the data resides in one centralized backend, that's Azure Monitor logs or log analytics, you can go there, write correlations, anomaly detection, and figure out when there is a problem on the application service layer, is it actually correlated or using your container logs with something happening on your container infrastructure as well. So it's as simple as if I come here, I can expand this again, and I can, click here, go to logs, and it will take me to the log analytics workspace where the problem I can investigate further. Now, one good thing about log analytics is your data might be lying in multiple workspaces across applications and resources, but you can always write a join query, do cross-workspace, cross-subscription, cross-resource queries, and that makes it very easy to investigate further. OK? So that's our first scenario. So let's look at another one. How many of you have faced any network problems in the conference so far? Have your websites not been loading? It's taking too much time, timing out? Now imagine you are a developer sitting in his office who built all of these performant websites, no dependency problems, capacity fully available on the infrastructure, the server response time is excellent, but the pages take 10 seconds to load. The pages time out at some instance, and you cannot figure out why that is the case. Now, network issues could be of various types, and you need not always be a network engineer to be cognizant of where the network issues might come up. Now, as an application developer, you really need to be aware of how network latency, such as in a large conference like this, might be impacting your page load times. So you can maybe discount some of these anomalous behavior because it has nothing to do with the application that you just developed. Similarly, when these applications, let's say, are deployed on servers, maybe on-premises or Azure VMs or something like that, there might be some interconnection problems between VMs running on different regions, between maybe some on-premises network infrastructure you are running. So a server response time latency could be due to a network dependency problem. And as a network engineer, if you really want to drill down on the pure play network layer, if you're looking at on-premises network, there is, of course, a service connectivity that you need to be aware of. There is network performance, full topology, how things are interconnected together. And some of you might be using ExpressRoute to connect your on-premises network to cloud or Azure Cloud, how that ExpressRoute connection is performing. On the other hand, if you're fully born in cloud, cloud native, using just Azure networking resources, you get the same level of functionality on the cloud, connection monitoring, flow logs, traffic analytics, even a full resource health of your networking resources. Now, Azure Monitor, again, as before, is one single tool that can give you both application telemetry, VM telemetry, on-premises network, cloud network, everything together, all connected through, again, the same log analytics layer, where you can write those queries, where you can create charts and workbooks, where you have data coming in from all of these different places together. So let's get back to our demo and see how that looks. So we start on the application side. So as I said, network issues could be of any type, and we are looking at the network latency problem right now. How do you get those metrics? Now, in application insights, we saw the failures, performance, all of those proper diagnostic tool sets. But for the raw power, I can just directly go to metrics, because these are like standard metrics that we are collecting on the browser front end. So I click on standard metrics. I can look at on the browser side. So there is browser page load time. Let's pick that up. So I'm seeing 12 seconds page load. I really didn't mean to do this, but network here is fantastic. So 12 seconds page load time may not have anything to do with how the server response time or client is processing the requests. So I can add another metric. I can look at network connection time, network latency, what's the root cause. I can add other metrics like client processing time. I can add other metrics like, let's say, server response time, and so on and so forth. Let's say server response time. So this kind of a chart really allows me to identify if something is taking 12 seconds, what are the core components within that chart? What are the splits that I can like prioritize or discount depending on where the issue is? Similarly, when these applications might be on VMs, I can go to Azure Monitor, look at some network dependency workbooks. So going back to virtual machine insights that Ketan showed, I'll go to performance. I can look at some of the workbooks running there. Just to show you the full gallery. So for network dependencies, we have a bunch of workbooks here, like you want to have a connection overview, how your ports are performing, any failures, traffic analysis, even a full security and audit pass on your network connections, on your VMs. So very easily, without going to a full-fledged Azure Security Center or Sentinel solution, right here on the VM layer, you can figure out any malicious traffic coming in, what's the overall traffic status, which VMs are like sending or receiving more data. And this is a great place where you can identify any anomalies that might be propping up or any unhealthy connections that you might need to investigate further. So let's jump onto the network layer itself, because more often than not, if the network is not performing, maybe some SNMP is down, maybe some router has a problem, or maybe it's just the overcapacity issue. So how do you get all of that information? For that, we have a new product that we are announcing this week, that is Azure Monitor for Networks, or Network Insights. So you come again to Azure Monitor. One of the new things you'll start seeing here is networks. And that's basically an aggregated roll-up of all of your Azure network resource health. So immediately across all the subscriptions that I have selected, I can see I have some application gateways, some load balancers, some express route circuits, a bunch of things. And one of my load balancers is unhealthy. There are 3 application gateways as well. No alerts are coming on. So my network is in a fairly healthy state. To get more details, maybe I can click on app gateways. I can see all the 3 that are happening there. Some basic golden signals, as Ketan mentioned, might be important for you. I can click on any of those networking resources and start getting more details. So while that's loading, this is basically an aggregated roll-up of Azure Resource Health that you are already getting for your individual network resources. But this is where you can monitor all of that at scale, so you need not go to each individual instance and figure out what's going on. So this one here, it's a fairly expansive application gateway. You can, if I zoom it in, you can actually see the full network topology on what each of those resources are, what they are connected to, and any discrepancies that might prop up here. For more details, like this was just resource health. You want to do diagnostics on top of your network. That's where you go to Network Performance Monitor. That is one of the solutions Azure Monitor provides, and that has 3 basic components, primarily designed for on-premises networks. There is express route monitoring. There is service connectivity monitoring. It just decided to refresh. There's service connectivity monitoring. There is performance monitoring. So I'll just take an example of service connectivity monitoring. You might have used synthetic testing or availability monitoring on an APM tool. While that is built from an application perspective, this is kind of an analysis from the network layer side. So from your network infrastructure, like some gateway or some router, if you want to identify whether Microsoft.com or Bing.com or Baidu.com, is it reachable, how is my network topology connecting to that? Is there any network latency that might be correlating to that application performance latency that I'm seeing? So I can see I have some 4 tests that I have created here. And I can pick up any one of them. Right-hand side, I can see what's the packet loss, no packet loss in the last few hours. I can see what's the application latency, network latency. I can click on topology and look at, from my host infrastructure, where are the different connections made to the destination that I'm interested in. In this case, as we saw before on the charts, everything was healthy. If anything is unhealthy, it would become red here, and I can investigate further. So that's topology discovery, and you'll get similar things for network-to-network connections with performance monitoring, or on-prem network to cloud network using express route monitoring. Now, let's look at these examples from a cloud perspective, like pure cloud resources. That's where you go to Network Watcher. So we just click here, come to Network Watcher, and you'll notice Network Performance Monitor solution is right here. But you get the same thing, service topology, connection monitoring, everything that was there for on-premises network, you have for Azure networks as well. But my favorite thing here is traffic analytics. I really love the visualizations. So great tool when you're trying to do auditing on your networks, identifying opportunities for cost reduction, for performance improvement, for just figuring out if you have any endpoints or gateways lying somewhere, let's say in central US, that nobody is really connecting to. So you can come to traffic analytics, choose. So I have this enabled on one of my subscriptions. Can choose that. And once you have NSG flow logs and other diagnostic logs enabled from your networking resources, a traffic map automatically gets visualized for you. So you can basically see easily which all regions your resources are deployed to, which all subnetworks and virtual networks you have, traffic distribution across various areas, application ports, basically a whole bunch of resources that is a goldmine for a network engineer to investigate further. And the visualization I mentioned, I really love this traffic analytics map. You might have seen some of this before. So a geo map across all of your resources. You can pick up any of your nodes and see all the connections made from that node or coming to that node, including security issues or malicious connections that we saw in the VM case before that you might see in Azure Security Center if you go to that area. So from this port, I can see all the connections. Two of these connections are showing red. So something weird going on, I can go ahead, investigate further. So that's network analysis. I'm hoping this would be useful when you are trying to investigate how network issues crop up during your investigations. The last scenario we'll be discussing today is a comprehensive alert management workflow. So this is an area where I have had lots of interesting conversations with customers, even partners when they're working with customers to set up like a very comprehensive ITSM system or a DevOps system, because when an alert is fired, what do you really do after that? So these are some of our learnings that we have got from talking to customers and from the field. There are a bunch of integrations you can really design based on your requirements, your business processes. So there are simple notifications, which could be email, SMS, push notification. If you're using Azure mobile app, you can get notifications on that. There are logic app workflows you can create. So if you're using Microsoft Teams or Slack channel, you want immediate notifications when something goes on, you can write a logic app workflow, or you can use webhooks to create your custom apps for Slack or Teams. I'll show a couple of examples for that. If you're using Jira or GitHub or Azure boards for your work item management or bug filing, again, you can write a logic app workflow. Anytime an alert gets fired, anytime an exception gets raised, immediately a bug can be filed on your work item management solution. And of course, sometimes the simple emails are not fine. You need to configure a very customized version of that email, maybe strip off some payload elements that might be of security concern to you. You can create your own custom emails using logic apps, I think the Office 365 connector or the action, and get on with that. Then many of you might be using some ITSM tools or on-call management systems like SCCM, ServiceNow, PagerDuty, VictorOps, whatever. There are some native connections available, especially like ServiceNow, SCCM, Cherwell, and Provence. And then there are webhooks or secure webhooks that you can use to create these very comprehensive bidirectional communications. We have auto healing and auto remediation as well. So as you go more towards that no ops kind of a philosophy, every time an alert gets fired, you do not want to be manually remediating that. Like to achieve that MTTR kind of a philosophy, you need to have some automation in place. So let's say your CPU is at 90%. It's fairly easy to resolve that problem with restarting the VM, and then you can, of course, continue the root cause analysis further. So some of these auto-healing capabilities are very important there. And lastly, operationalization. Again, going back to that at-scale philosophy that we talked about, how do you do alert suppression? Maybe you are doing a planned downtime on Sunday evening. How do you avoid alerts during that time? Or as a central IT organization, how can you set up alerting policies at scale, saying, let's say, all the Ceph0 alerts across my entire subscription, I want to get a voice call even at 2 a.m. in the night. So all of those central policies you can very easily set up. Again, a sample workflow that I have seen many customers follow, both enterprises, SMEs, and early-stage startups. This is like a typical thing that you'll see. First, you define actionable alerts. These could be metric-based or log-based alerts. You can define what severity that is, like a simple description of that alert. Figure out if it is possible to auto-heal or auto-remediate it at this point, like especially that percentage CPU kind of an example. If that's an alert, I would ideally set up an auto-remediation and then worry about further notifications and further diagnostics. Then your logic says, is an alert suppression window is in practice? If there is no suppression, we'll move ahead. If it was auto-remediated, maybe just send me an email notification so I know something happened. But if there was no auto-remediation, what do I do? All the integrations that I talked about before comes into the picture here. You can send it to ServiceNow, you can send it to PagerDuty, you can file a bug, create a custom email, whatever you are interested in. And then for high severity alerts, maybe as a policy, you can define an action rule and say that for Ceph0 alerts, I want a voice call or a push notification, or maybe a notification on my Slack channel. So let's see that in example. OK, so I come here on Azure Monitor alerts. And the way to come here is, again, you go to Azure Monitor, there is alerts there. Now, to create a new alert rule, there is basically a 3-step process. You select the resources you want to create alerts on. You can do that on a per individual resource basis, like choose, let's say, 1 VM, 2 VMs, and so on. Or I am a fan of creating alerts at scale. So in this case, I have selected all virtual machines in my entire subscription, irrespective of which resource group or which workspace they lie in. So once I select all the resources, I need to specify a condition. Now, these conditions could be simple metrics or perf counters that I'm collecting, or a log analytics query if I'm writing a very comprehensive workflow. So I'll choose a simple one that I'll be talking about, a percentage CPU. Now, of course, a simple one is a static threshold, good enough for 1 or 2 VMs that you are manually configuring. But if you're managing 500 VMs, identifying and setting static thresholds is not my cup of tea. So that's where our machine learning capability, AI ops capability comes in. We call that dynamic baselining. So when you select dynamic baselining, what it actually does is goes through the entire history of your time series data and picks up min and max thresholds based on the sensitivity level that you can set here. So in this case, you can look at the chart. Like, there have been some actual spikes or anomalies that will breach our dynamic threshold, and I'll get alerted on that. But if there are any minor like transactional spikes, I won't really bother about that. And the good thing is, if I have so many different VMs I'm monitoring, each VM has their own independent dynamic threshold set from this page. Once I have done that, it's an auto-grow thing. So any new VMs that get added to the subscription will have this alerting policy in place. Now, all I need to do is define an action. We call a group of actions as an action group. Not maybe the best choice of word, but it's an action group. You can choose multiple actions right here. Automation runbook, a simple one for a VM. There are a bunch of built-in runbooks available. I can just select restart a VM, choose the subscription where I have Azure Automation deployed, and I can get started with that. Or if I'm doing an ITSM integration, I can choose ITSM as the connection. and I already have a ServiceNow account in my subscription. So I can just choose that ServiceNow connection, choose the work item that I want to go ahead with, and it will set up that integration with ServiceNow. I can even choose a secure webhook or a simple webhook if I want to manually set up such a connection with my ITSM or incident management tool of choice. So these are some of the simple actions that we can take. Talking about auto healing or auto remediation, one other important thing is auto scaling. So especially important in, let's say, a VM scale set kind of an environment or an app service environment when you want to scale up or scale down your instances based on user load. So that's where you can set up an auto scaling. I'll just show an example of an app service plan. So you can manually scale it, or you can create a custom auto scale rule. So it's all, again, based on the metrics that you are collecting in Azure Monitor. You can define a rule here. Say, let's say, server response time goes by more than 500 milliseconds. You want to scale up an application instance or a VM instance. You can define very complex auto scale rules here, and that takes care of usually a good amount of like resolutions and reduces our MTTR time. The last thing here is the action policies or alerting policies that I talked about. So the way you'll get to that is through manage actions. So manage actions, here you can manage all the action rules that you are setting up, your action groups that you are setting up. If I create a new action rule, the process is same as before. You select the scope. I can select, let's say, the entire subscription. I can select the filter that I want. There are like basic segmentation there, severity, payload. You can write a regex to filter that and so on. And once you have selected your filter, you can define suppression and action groups. So an action group here, as I said, you can say all Ceph0 alerts on my entire subscription, I want a voice notification, or maybe a Slack channel integration. Now, how do you do that, like ChatOps integration? It's a simple logic app. I have a logic app created here, and it's based on a common alert schema or a common alert payload, irrespective of where that alert was fired. So once that HTTP request is received, in this case, I have defined a Microsoft Teams action. It could be an Office 365 action, an Azure DevOps action, whatever I'm interested in. So I have this connected to my Teams account, and any alerts that happen, I define what the notification looks like, and I get that, and my team can then engage on this further. Similarly, one of my colleagues from Azure DevOps team built a custom application for Slack. So they were like much more smarter than me, so they created all those visualizations and change tracking. So you can see, again, all those alerts that are being fired, you can capture them in your Slack channel, and a fairly easy way to kind of manage it in your environments. So with that, we'll quickly look at some best practices, some FAQs that we frequently hear, and then talk about our learning resources. We'll be here for questions after that, if you have anything. So, Ketan, you want to go ahead?
Thank you, Rahul. As you know, we did a lot of demos here. There goes a lot of work in putting these demos together. I think this needs a round of applause for Rahul. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll have only a few minutes. So actually, we have about 5 minutes, or maybe a minute and a half actually shows here. So we'll go through quickly the best practices here. I'll just focus on a couple things here, and then we'll go into the roadmap. One question that comes up many times is, should we use Log Analytics Workspace single or multiple? Our recommendation is to use as fewer as possible. And partly, I think earlier people were using multiple because they were not able to scope it or control access to it. And so basically now what we have is role-based access, resource-based access, or resource-centric access. So now actually you can have one workspace. You could have multiple subscriptions there and sending the data to that workspace, and you can control the access by subscription or by resource also. So that's our recommendations in there. Jumping into more of the logs and metrics alerts. So I think we have both capabilities, metrics-based alerts as well as log-based alerts. Metric-based alerts are a little more richer in terms of stateful. They are also, you can do dynamic thresholds on those things. Log-based alerts you want to use when you have complex queries that you want to do, analytics type of queries that you want to do that's not simply possible with metrics in this case. I do recognize that some of the data just stays in logs. For example, VM monitoring of perf data. We want to put that into metrics also so you can get advantage of some of those metric alerts that we have. But right now, we have both alerts that you can actually use for your, depending on your needs. And lastly, I'll just focus on the SCOM and kind of the Azure Monitor. I was at booth, or we were at booth. I think almost every other person that comes in the booth and asks us, what's your story with SCOM? I think our story with SCOM has been, it's co-managed or better together story. We don't have everything that SCOM has. We will probably not have for all the workloads that SCOM does, but we wanted to try and do some of the major workloads that people have asked for us to make sure we have available in Azure Monitor. For example, SQL or IIS will continue to enhance Azure Monitor to include those workloads. But in the interim, we continue to have a good story together where say you use SCOM for certain aspects of it, Azure Monitor for certain aspects of it. There's more details on the documentation and the guides here to kind of give you a little more depth, a little more in depth in terms of how we actually can use together or better together. Jumping onto roadmap, again, this is a guidance from overall what we're trying to do in 2020. We will definitely continue to improve latency. You will definitely have already seen improvements in latency. We'll continue to see improvement in latency. We'll get to sub-minute and sub-minute latency for both metrics and logs, as well as alerting. We will continue to have more and more scenarios enabled for at-scale onboarding. You saw the policies for the VMs will include more and more resources that we can actually onboard at in the similar manner. You will also see richer insights coming across. So just like you saw storage in Cosmos, you'll see for other resources in Azure, as well as you'll have, as I was talking about, the SQL or IIS type of workloads that you'll see in Azure Monitor also. We actually will have support for Red Hat OpenShift for Kubernetes. You will see that. And codeless attach, Rahul mentioned in his talk also for the codeless attach. From a capability standpoint, a number of the capabilities will light up across the board. Distributed tracing is one of the main ones. You will see application change analysis capability that's lighting up, and also health monitoring, snapshot debugging without need of source code. And you'll continue to enhance, you'll see the enhancements of the integrations with DevOps and the other environment tools that we have. Finally, here are the learning resources. And again, please also make sure you can actually join us and give us some feedback. Cloud Design Insider, as well as talk with the Azure Monitor product team with one-on-one sessions. Feel free to sign up for these. We have, and then we also have, please evaluate these sessions. There's a related session slide also there. I missed the related session slide. We have it in the, maybe it's. So
I'll do evaluate the session, and I'll keep this learning resources slide on the screen if you want to take a picture. So thanks all. That's all we had. We are here for questions if you want to ask anything. And we also have a booth in the hub. So please do join us there if you want to see some of these demos in more detail. Thank you.
Thank you.